We're about 6 miles to the south of downtown Wichita, where tonight Wichita police are investigating a shooting. The reported victim shot in the face, and now the Wichita Police Department needs your help finding the suspect. Sam Rahman was found killed in this neighborhood. We're near Town East Mall. Police tell us that he was on the job delivering pizzas when something went wrong. Now, investigators are trying to figure out why he was murdered. And women say they deal with situations like an unwanted touch or a lingering hug every day. And with more women speaking out about these situations where they simply don't feel comfortable, there's a movement for change. We are in far west Wichita, near 21st and 119th Street West, and behind me is the house in question. We're seeing a lot of investigators going in and out of this house. Both that minister and pastor are not of the same denomination as that church down in South Texas, but both men say an attack on a church of such magnitude is felt in every other church in the nation. Fire investigators say this home explosion could have been worse. You see this wall right here? It's still mostly intact, even though it's no longer connected to the house. In most home explosions, all that would be left are fine bits of lumber after the house explodes. The need for warm wintertime coats isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Winter is fast approaching. The Salvation Army in need of children's jackets and adult plus-size jackets. They don't care if they're new or used, just as long as they're in good condition. We're just a few miles to the west of downtown Wichita at one of Wichita's busiest intersections. It's Kellogg and I-235. Here, like so many other roads in Kansas, there's a growing problem. It's tailgaters. They're not only causing crashes, but also injuries. You'll see a lot of cars driving down Kansas roads, but maybe none as unique as Simon Atanisov's Honda Civic.
Kind of gets old, repainting it black, and since it's gonna get wrecked anyway.
Atanisov says he has been rear-ended 5 times in this car, so he took action. Stealing the idea from a movie, he spray-painted his bumper bright yellow and added the words, "Do not tailgate," hoping it would solve his problem. So far, it's worked.
I've had some people ask me, do people actually tailgate you now that they see the do not tailgate? And the answer is not really. There might have been like 1 or 2 times some people just want to do it, but in general, not really.
Tailgating or following too closely is an increasing trend on Kansas roads. The Kansas Department of Transportation shows over the past 5 years, the number of accidents where tailgating was at play have increased dramatically. Kansas Highway Patrol Trooper Ben Gardner.
Well, it's foolish, it's dangerous, and it happens way too often on our Kansas roadways.
Trooper Gardner says every day he sees drivers following other cars way too close. When people are, they're like right up on somebody's bumper, they know what they're doing, don't they?
Yeah, they do. You see people that want to push and not physically push, but, with their presence, push a vehicle through the passing lane because it's not going as fast. So they'll come up right on it.
Trooper Gardner says you need to give yourself at least 3 seconds of distance between your vehicle and the one in front of you. That is the new standard. Less than 3 seconds, it could be considered tailgating.
And people need to recognize that it's a dangerous thing. It's not the best practice, and it's going to cause somebody to lose their life.
Atanisov is happy right now with his bumper. It might not be pretty, but it's keeping other drivers from hitting him.
I think the yellow bumper on a black car is makes it stick out a little better, so makes it easier to see and easier to notice.
That old standard of 2 seconds following distance, yep, that's out the window. It's now up to 3. With winter weather fast approaching, it will be here in the coming weeks. It's actually recommended that you get in the habit now of giving yourself a little extra driving distance from the person in front of you. Live in West Wichita, Bryan Ramsdale, Cake News. It's a routine Mark Wilson and his son Ryder do every day. Loading into a car seat seems straightforward, but during the winter months, most parents might be surprised to learn a little-known danger.
I have not thought of that as a factor or heard about it.
During the winter months, when a thick coat is a must for the little ones, wearing it in a car seat can be dangerous. Crash test video shows just how violent car crashes can be for kids in car seats. And if the harness isn't tightened correctly, like a jacket is adding extra padding, the child could be ejected from the vehicle.
A lot of people do not know.
Wichita Police Sergeant Lenny Rose has been giving advice to parents for years about car seat safety. It's only been within the last several years it has become known how dangerous leaving your child in a car seat while wearing a thick coat can be.
Just the little bit of room that those big puffy coats take, that could lead enough to actually have a small infant come out between the car seat.
Sergeant Rose says kids should always be buckled up into a car seat, just not wearing their puffy coats and thick jackets.
They think they're doing the right thing by getting them in there, and they're in the car seat, and that's it. But we just need to take that little bit of extra step to make sure that they're very safe.
To better help understand the issue, Cake Morning Show anchor Shane Ewing and his daughter helped demonstrate. One time, they loaded up in the car with the jacket on, another with the jacket off.
A lot more room for her to move, which is not a good thing in terms of if we were ever in an accident, which of course we never want to be. But yeah, there was a little bit too much room with the coat between the belt and Bryn.
Back with Anderson at the park, he has changed his mind about buckling up young Ryder in a car seat while wearing a jacket.
I mean, the main objective is to get it to fit correctly. So if the coat makes it not fit correctly, then it won't be as effective at its job. Makes it more dangerous for him.
Now, Sergeant Rose says in order to keep your kids warm in the winter, he suggests placing them in the back seat, taking off their jacket, buckling them up, and then putting that jacket back on top of them, wrapping them up almost like they're in a blanket.
Oh, okay.
Keep them warm.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Now, I guess, Brian, we've all had kids that we've buckled up. How come we don't know about the danger?
A lot of parents think they're doing the right thing. They're keeping their kids warm. It's cold outside. But a lot of the car seat manufacturers actually put it in their instruction manuals. Do not place your kids in there with those thick wintertime jackets.
And we just aren't reading the instructions.
Yeah, how many of us have done that, right?
Yeah, all right. Thanks so much, Brian.
It isn't every day that you will see law enforcement and kids standing side by side, guns in both of their hands. But on this rural shooting range, it's a good thing. The event is called Pull for the Blue. Kids from rural southern Kansas schools paired up with law enforcement to see who is better at trap shooting. The difficult sport is based on a simple concept. Shoot down the flying disc, also called a clay pigeon, get a point. But in these matches, more was on the line than winning. Harper County Sheriff Tracy Chance.
Just the camaraderie with the kids, getting them to know my officers, my deputies, us getting to know them a little more. We enjoy that.
It's a pretty unique way for law enforcement and kids to bond with a shotgun and these little clay discs, but out here in Harper County, it's working. The kids only rarely missed. Just take South Barber senior Slater Blick.
Paul.
He says through this trap shooting event, he learned a good relationship with law enforcement is possible.
We're just wanting to spread that they're not that bad, and we can build a positive relationship with these people.
Other students like Kyler Acord agree.
Get to know them better and get a better relationship with them.
The kids are led in practice by their coach, Sidney Burkholder.
On the line!
He started a trap shooting program for students at the Anthony Gun Club to give the facility some new life. And when the chance came to help these kids meet and interact with law enforcement in a positive way, he jumped at the opportunity.
Just to give them a chance to have a relationship with one another without it being in a stressful situation out in the country.
The shoot wasn't really about who was going to win. Granted, everyone had their money on the kids.
Oh, I know they're going to win. That's why.
But it did not matter who won because no one really lost. This game could only go on to help these kids learn about law enforcement and build a relationship for the better. In Harper County, Bryan Ramsdale, Cake News.